So welcome to the Cost of Living Workshop. You're joined by myself, Lee. I'm the Strategic Engagement Lead, and I've also got my colleague, Judy, joining us, and Judy is the Pathways Advisor for the Hub. So the session aim is essentially to give you a bit of an insight as to what help and support is available within the local area. And when we say local area, we mean Cheshire and Merseyside. And also to ease pressures and to bring everything in one place. And like I said, it's really interactive, and we've pulled all the information from different sources in one place. And it's covering stuff like grant applications, support, and general support as well. And then to also have a real person-centered approach. The thing is, we're all skint, and it's coming into winter. We're getting a little bit more skint. So any support options that we have found, we've done a bit of research, and then we put it all in one place for you. So we've asked people like yourself for their top tips on getting support or money tips for it, if you would, on saving money. And people came through in abundance with lots of information. So I just thought I'd put a few of these on a slide just to give you a bit of an insight, but some really good ones. And this is very much me as well. Being a yellow sticker hoarder, if you came to my house for tea, you would have yellow sticker food. My freezer is full to the brim of yellow stickers. And everybody, all my friends laugh at me, but it becomes an obsession, if you would. But someone's put there, become a yellow sticker hoarder. Supermarkets reduced unsold food by 75% from 7 p.m. onwards. Lots of different variations with this. Aldi do 30% and 50%. Morrison's just go direct to 75%. So there's lots of different things, but they all start from 7 p.m. onwards. Some other top tips that people have give are things like collect all of the coupons. So you can use the get book vouchers, half price theme park days, and also free McDonald's as well. And as we work in NHS and social care, you can also get discounts at the same time, but we'll talk about all this later on. Another one though is if you're looking to get married soon, you can utilise your wedding dress or get a second-hand wedding dress. ASOS do cheap wedding dresses from 20 quid. Other tips that people have said are things like if you're on benefits, if you do receive benefits or top up benefits, anything like that, you can get free broadband or cheaper broadband. And again, we'll talk about this later on. But some more top tips, like ditch the optional extras. So if you're going on holiday, do you need a case or can you manage with hand luggage? I mean, I need all of the hair products, as you can see. I have more hair on my chin than I do on my head, but it's that mentality of can you manage with a small personal item rather than a case type of thing. And another one there before we move on to the next one is really important as we're coming to winter. By draft proof in your windows and your doors. So a little top tip for you is there's two screws on your door, and as you come into the winter months, if you tighten the screw, it draft proofs your door even further to stop little bits of cold coming through. And then in summer you turn it back and it allows cooler to come through. It's like the little vents on your window. So again, some top tips there from people around out from our Twitter who have come through and helped supported us with this presentation with their top tips. And I'll pass you over to my colleague Judy now, who's going to talk to you about all the local help and support available.
Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about the delay. I'm right with you. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay. As Lee has alluded to, there are lots of help available in terms of, all the local council that can actually very, very aware of what's going on in terms of the cost of living, etc. So this section is all about help and support that you can get from your local councils. Councils have recognised that people are really struggling and have brought together lots of help and support. And this page is very interactive. So if you click the logo in the presentation, it'll take you to the council's webpage. And just to sort of, highlight a few, we've listed all the CABs around the Northwest, how you can get further support around benefits and help for household funds, etc. And we'll talk about this as we go through the presentation. I have actually used the CAB in terms of referring clients, etc. They are extremely busy, but once you get through to them, they are really, really knowledgeable and very, very helpful. The other organization is Liverpool CVS. They have a range of information available from energy bill support, warm hubs, right through to the community food spaces. We've also created a very large community-based directory here at our hub, the Cheshire Merseyside Resilient Hub, which will give you support, all the support and services that you may require. This is on our website, and it has an array of information from health, wealth, community-based support agencies, right through to education, and this could be sent out to you.
Brill. Thanks, Judy. And just on what Judy's touched on that point there. So we've been working behind the scenes for a good few months now, curating stuff like a community directory. And I'll send this out with the presentation so you can have a look. And if you think that we've missed a section off there, do let us know. We can update this because this is available for everyone to get support from at the same time. I just want to touch on a quick point on there as well. We've also put on the Trussell Trust, who are the food bank people. There is a really, really interactive map. If you are struggling or if you are falling into hardship, there's a really interactive map that lists all the different food bank agencies around local areas. And they're here to support you completely free, completely without judgment as well. So, like Judy said, this slide here is really interactive. There's so much different councils do lots of different things, and Judy mentioned stuff there about keeping warm hubs, that sort of stuff. But there's also household support funds that you can apply for as well. So if you are in hardship or fallen into hardship, and say your fridge is blown up, you could get support and grants available through these household support funds. So this is, like I said, a really interactive presentation. But as we move further on in the presentation, we have stuff like household support. And when we say household, this is mainly focused around support for children, if you would. We've pulled together lots and lots of information about this. Now, in the spring budget, there was a childcare allowance, and the government have introduced new childcare allowances. These are still yet to come into play fully, but a lot of them have come into play already. So you could get things like tax-free childcare, and you could get up to £5 for every 3 months for each of your children. Now, everything on the presentation, again, if you click the heading, it will take you direct to these websites. There's things of so many hours that children can get for free, 30 hours or 15 hours, depending on age or postcodes as well. But there's also, if you are pregnant, there are things like the NHS Healthy Start Scheme, and this is essentially a voucher scheme which you can get healthy food and milk for as well. And these.
Is it on? No.
I'm just gonna mute you. There we go. Sorry. So we do have a lots of things as well. National breakfast clubs are a big thing. There are a range of different partnerships or with different organisations such as Kellogg's, who have these national breakfast clubs, and they subsidise food or breakfast for children. This was up until the end of July 2023, but they've continued this provision. I don't know until it's as and when on an ad hoc basis. But there's lots of different national breakfast clubs, and places like Children in Need, Red Nose Day, they also contribute grants towards these. So you might be eligible for discount or free to send your child for free. There's other things as well. It's half term. I'm from Blackburn, and it's half term where I live. There's like an invisible line across the country this Friday, but it might be half term coming up soon for people in the Cheshire and Merseyside area. And local councils also have a range of holiday clubs. If you're receiving benefits, top up benefits, anything like that, you can actually get support and enroll your children in these holiday clubs for free. And I'll give you an example. I had to assume responsibility for one of my nephews, and this was during the 6-week holidays. And I spoke to local council, and we got him in a boxing club. And for doing that, he's now enrolled in a boxing club back home. So it what opens children's minds, and all these free things are on your doorstep as well. So as we continue with household, I will pass you over to Judy, who's going to talk to you about community hubs from energy providers. Now, energy providers aren't our best friends well, they don't seem to be our best friends at the moment, but they do have a lot of support available. So Judy, over to you.
Absolutely. I think we can all really relate to the fact that energy prices have really risen in the last few years. But at the start of this month, seems to have gone down. That doesn't mean really that your bills will be lower. As we run up to Christmas, we will be using, a lot more energy, and here's where, it actually impacts on you. I think really we need to really identify that if we are all experiencing hardship, or if you find yourself in hardship, your energy provider, has a hardship or community fund available. The funds can help clear debts you may have incurred, but also support you with any future costs, i.e., boilers replacement, lagging, etc., etc. Can I also add that sometimes, when you do call some of the energy providers, i.e., it could be British Gas, it could be any of the utility services that's listed, above. It's really difficult to get through to them, but you've got to be really persistent. Don't give up, because at the end of the day, they all recognize that we are, in a very, very challenging period post-COVID, during COVID, etc. So if you hover over any of the icons there, say Next or Shell, etc., from your gas, etc., then it gives you all the information that you need, and they're there to give you that additional help and support. So I
Yeah,
hope this will be very useful to all of us as time
I
goes on.
Thanks, Judy. I have linked in places which are no longer available anymore. So, but these energy providers, although we have lots of different providers, they all do the same thing, and they all link to, say, British Gas, the
Yeah.
Energy Trust type of stuff. But lots of different providers have all these different community support funds, and they offer different things from free electric blankets to debt relief support. But there's other stuff as well. For example, if you use alternative energy, for example, you could get a £200 grant from the government, and these are listed on all these sites. It's really, really useful to have a look at what you get currently from your provider. And I'll give you a big example. If you're with British Gas, they did it during the summer on a Sunday from 3 p.m. If you have a smart meter, you can get free energy, and they've extended this for the foreseeable as well. So, and it only works with a smart meter. But basically, from 3 p.m. till 11 p.m., you get free energy. Now that's the time to charge everything up, the e-scooters, the toothbrushes, everything like that. So, although it does go on your usage, you get that money back. And it's really useful to know. And again, these are on the provider's web pages, the British Gas page, and it'll tell you more about it at the same time. Brill. So, keeping with the theme of household, um, we all know this guy in the corner. This is Martin Lewis, and a saviour to some. Um, and every time I buy something really extortionate or expensive, I think, what would Martin Lewis do? And then I start getting in a mindset of thinking, is it a want? Is it a need? So what we've done here is I've put lots of information on from Martin Lewis, and again, all in one place. But the biggest thing is, as we come into Christmas, the energy price cap now has fallen. It fell at the first of this month, meaning we're on cheaper tariffs. But as the dark nights come in, the colder months roll in at the same time, there's also going to be a more need for energy, people using a lot more energy, if you would. So whilst the price cap has fallen, please bear in mind that your energy bills may also still remain high and still continue to rise. I just mentioned there as well about the alternative fuel. The links there, if you heat your home with gas or with coal or anything like that, that's part of the alternative support scheme as well. Um, there's also support there around mortgages and benefits. So if you do receive top-up benefits and you have a mortgage and you are struggling to pay, there are assistance programs available. But what we will say is first and foremost, speak to your mortgage provider because they will have their own support streams in place as well. But you can also, we all love free money, and I've just done it myself. I have my usual bank account and I have a bank account on the side, if you would, just for rainy day funds. I've transferred that rainy day fund bank account to a different provider and I've just got £175 completely free. The only term is I have to stick with them for 2 months and have so much money going in the account. But I've got £175 for free for just transferring. Everything's done automatically. So free money opportunities there. And again, the Bank of England base rate with mortgages are it's up, it's down, it's round. We don't know whether we're coming, we're going. But again, mortgage rates are currently dropping. Some may be higher than others. But Martin Lewis has actually put some really good insights and support offers available there. And then we talked about NHS bursary, NHS discounts and whatnot. And we'll talk more on the next page. So go on, Judy, I'll let you do this one.
Yes, fine, no problem. I think we're all welcome anything to do with money tips and how we can be a lot more, sort of savvy in terms of accessing sites where money and advice around money becomes very useful. There's lots of ideas on where we can save money. Say, for instance, using a couple of examples that's shown here from NHS freebies, which are readily available online and in person, right through to death support, etc. And can I also add here, sometimes, if you're within a union, say, Unite, or any of the unions that support, NHS staff, clinical staff, etc., they also have really good information in terms of, managing monies, how to get the best out of your savings, etc. Here, the Cheshire and Merseyside Resilient Hub, we've partnered up with Step Change, who are the national debt charity. And Step Change can help with things like debt relief orders. They've been really, really helpful in trying to assist a lot of our clients when it comes, to the fact that they're totally overwhelmed with a lot of, debts coming in at them, and they would set out a realistically way of paying back just letters of offers to all of your debtors. So they're a very, very good agency to get to know or to use. Another example is Bounce Back, which is really it's a checklist from British Gas Energy Trust. They've compiled 220 links to help you save money. This site is really, really useful. And I'm sure, Lee, you can elaborate a little bit more on maybe other sites.
Yeah, for sure. So Bounce Back, actually, I was doing a bit of research and found this, and basically it's from the British Gas Energy Trust, and they have compiled lots and lots of different informations from families to single parents to just general savings at the same time, and it's really, really useful. So I thought I'd include that for you. But there's where Judy talked around, say, union support, we're going to come on to that later on because we've got a huge section on this. But for example, if you live in Liverpool, and we follow these people on Twitter, and there's like a surplus community. So, for example, they have surplus food shops, places like Company Shop and whatnot. But Liverpool has their own little community food points. And for example, I can't remember where the corner shop is, but it's in Liverpool. But they have loads of surplus bread every morning, and they just pile it up outside. on the trolleys. People come and take whatever they need, and there's no judgment as well. If it's going to waste, why not? So lots of information there and money tips around from NHS freebies, support for families, and also birthday freebies. We all love a freebie. Now we've listed the lots of different birthday freebies. So you could get a cocktail or all buy one. You could get a free donut at Greg's. There are so many different freebies that you can get for your birthday. But yeah, why not? Eh? Why not? But we all love, I say, freebie. And when we say freebie in this next section, it's not particularly a freebie, but it's more support, if you would.
Yeah.
So this section is for staff members in the NHS social care and emergency services. And what we've tried doing is reaching into lots of different organisations to look at what grants are available. Now, in most cases, 99% of the time, a grant is there to not be paid back and it's there to help with you. So we've looked at lots of different organisations who are there to support people who have fallen into hardship, being financial hard times. And the first one we've got who offer grants is the Cavill Nurses Trust. And this is for registered nurses, nursing associates or midwives, maternity support workers, healthcare assistants or nursing auxiliary in a nursing home or a community setting. Essentially, with all grants, there is an eligibility criteria. You have to be living in the UK, be within financial hardship, and do have less than £4,000 in savings. And they can help with lots of different things. So short-term financial emergencies, essential white goods, travelling expenses, mobility aids, bankruptcy or debt relief orders, or they can also help with rent arrears in some cases. Again, we've not put, there was lots and lots of information. If we put all that information on, this presentation would be about 400 slides long. So what we've done is we've contained all that information and just put it all via the logo. If you click the logo, it will take you to the eligible, the grants, what's available. They're very much same with the Queen's Nursing Institute. It's for registered or former community nurses or midwives. You have to have been a member of staff for 3 consecutive years and currently living in England, Wales or Northern Ireland. Scotland isn't counted in this. Again, it's within financial difficulty, be it an illness or a disability or a life crisis that's taken hold of your life type of thing. And again, they help with things like essential white goods, specialist equipment, cost of medical treatment, and in some cases, funeral expenses at the same time. Really, really insightful and really good to know as well. So sticking with grants, the Healthcare Workers Foundation has a grant of up to £250 for healthcare workers who are struggling. You can use it in any way, but they do need proof of what you've spent it on. So you couldn't just get the £250 and get to the off license and have a lovely weekend type of thing, as you need to provide proof. But they do have stuff like rainy day funds, and they can give grants of up to £1,000. Again, this is for people experiencing financial difficulty, but you can only apply for one item. So last time I checked, they just put a pause on the grants. However, they do open up on a regular basis, so we've kept these in for the foreseeable. And again, the Junius S. Morgan Benevolent Fund. This again is a rainy day fund for up to £500 for nurses, midwives, and HCAs. Again, they can help with a range of different things, but you have to be within financial hardship. So moving further on, we have the Care Workers Charity, and these are here to support people in the care sector. Now, we know the joint connection between health and social care, and we know that during COVID, health got more than social care did. And it's not about that. It's essentially bringing what's on the plate to everybody. So this is what we're trying to do with all this information. The Care Workers Charity can support people with who've had a sudden unexpected income loss, or they've had an illness or an injury, and their wages have been impacted. But there are eligibilities that you need to have been employed for at least a year's service or been previously employed with a care organisation for 5 years. And they can help again with lots of different things. They change the grants depending on how much they have available within the pot. So that's essentially for care workers. However, if you are a member of a community group, a youth club, a scout group, or anything like that, and again you're going through hardship, the electric bills have just gone sky high, and you're going to lose your building type of thing. The National Lottery Community Fund can help with VCFOs, voluntary community organisations, essentially registered charities, CIOs, CICs, and also not-for-profit companies. And this is to essentially, the eligibility with this is to build strong relationships around communities, improve places and spaces where people live, and also help more people reach their potential. And they can help with stuff like one-off events, staff costs, utilities, volunteer expenses. What they can't help with is pay people's wages though. And again, there is an eligibility criteria you have to go through. Click the link and it'll take you direct to the website. So then on the final section of the main grants of what we found is that the RCN Foundation supported nurses and registered midwives and also care workers as well with the financial hardship. You can't I've received a grant from them in the last 12 months, and you need to experience a big change in your circumstances. The list is quite lengthy, so I've just put a link to that. And again, just generally, they can help with hardship. And then Turn to Us is an organisation who essentially tackle financial insecurity. Anyone is eligible for a grant check. You put your details in, your postcode type of stuff. And then it brings up different eligibility criteria of what you could get. You could get up to £200, £1,000, but it's mainly to cover shortfalls or hardships. But they do provide information and assistance with white goods, council tax, that sort of stuff as well. So that's the main section of grants, the big grants, what we've come across. But I also dug a little deeper because within the health and social care, it's not a one-shoe-fits-all approach. There are so many different avenues and aspects to it. So we found that the BMA charities support doctors who are in financial difficulty, and it's grants around GMC, the General Medical Council retention fees. The Dane Fund essentially helps students as well with either the clothing, uniforms, anything that they specifically need. And it's there to help and support people. And we can't stress this enough that it's a grant. A lot of this time, 90%, it doesn't need to be paid back. The Royal Medical Benevolent Fund and grants are available for people again experiencing hardship due to illness, disability, or even death at the same time. And these could be monthly grants to help with day-to-day living costs, back to work awards, or if you need specialist equipment or adaptations to your car or your house type of thing. The ambulance staff charity, again, very similar. You have to be within the ambulance service. It doesn't matter whether you're NWAS, whether you're YAS, or just any sort of ambulance service around the country. But you do need to provide details of your current employment, your housing status if you've any dependents. It is quite lengthy to apply, but you can also be awarded a different level of grant as well. Judy also mentioned about unions. If you are with a union, there are lots of different variations of support available for you. For example, Unison, the last time I checked, was giving £200. And this is, again, grants. So if you're struggling with finance, they can give you the financial support. It's very much like Unite, the Union, Royal College of Nursing, the Workers' Union, HSCA, and there's plenty more unions, but I just didn't want to overburden it. They all have their own financial assistance program. So be that if you need financial information, grants, support, winter support, as we come into it. So all that, again, really, really lengthy information. It's all interactive. So if you click the link, it will take you direct to it so you can apply for it if you wish. And then I'm going to pass you over to Judy, who's going to talk to you about stuff like finance help of what you can get and the support that's available for you, because trying to bring everything under one roof, it's so much happening.
Absolutely. And I think really, there's so much information out there. It's a lot to take in, but I'm sure sort of, repeating the slide will make it, a little bit easier. I think really, Help for Household, it's a local government scheme that opens up every year to help support people in hardship. Again, that's an example, that's listed. If you can click over, the logo, then it'll give you a lot more information. Another example is Scope, which actually supports disabled people experiencing hardship. And I think if we work in particular sectors, either LD, people with physical or learning difficulties, this sort of organization is really, really useful to know and to really access if and when the time is appropriate. The Good Thing Foundation also, it offers free and it's extremely cheap. It offers free and extremely cheap sort of phone data and broadband. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I haven't heard of this until Lee brought it to my attention. This is really unused data and broadband compiled to help people in whatever circumstances that they find themselves in. Um, and really, it's all about, hovering over the links like the Royal British Legion, say, for instance, entitled to all these are excellent links to find out a lot more where to get help from and whether that help is appropriate for you at the time.
Yeah, there's like Judy just mentioned the Good Things Foundation. I found out about this during COVID, and they were offering people who was in hardship or receipt of benefits. They was offering excess data packages, so people, for example, who wasn't using all the data or the broadband type of thing, every month it would roll over just into a national bank, and all of this then gets distributed to people in need as well. More stuff on there as well about like local government associations. So whilst you've got your local council, your local authority, these local government associations all come together with different areas of support available. So it's like a council but different, if you would. And then you've also got places like Turn to Us, again tackling financial insecurity. They've put lots together about financial help. Um, a big factor is pensions. We think pensions in the NHS or social care, oh yeah, it's fine, it's fine. But when was the last time you looked into your pension? How much you're paying into it? If you paid that extra bit more, what would you get in return? If you took some out, what would you get in return type of thing? So it's worth contacting your pension provider and asking for like a health check just to see where you are with your current pension, and then breaking it down into a year by year approach for when you do actually retire. So again, lots of useful information on the around financial help and support. But how can you save money, or where can you save money? So there are so many different variations of things where you can save money. I've just put some bits of information on here. There are lots of different food waste schemes available. Now, probably people have heard of Too Good To Go. If you haven't, it's essentially an app which you download, put your postcode area in, and it brings up loads of shops like Greggs, Marks and Sparks, Aldi, who have for example, if Yellow Sticker food hasn't sold that night, you can get it at ridiculously cheap prices. The bigger cities, more variations. I live in a small rural town, so we have very limited things. There is, for example, where I live, there is a chippy on there who put the bags on a Friday night, and this I get a chippy bag for £3. And the first time I did it, I come out with 2 bags of chippy goodness. It was brilliant. It was great. So you can get really good stuff on there for cheap prices. Olio, very much the same, but this is when the stores have closed, so it's run by volunteers. Volunteers go collect all the excess food, and then it's in a more local approach, so a local area, for example, and then you not bid, but you request, can I have that French baguette? Can I have that? Can I have that? You turn up, pick it up, and stick it in your freezer type of thing. There are so many different variations about where you can save money. Now, we've all got wardrobes full of unused clothes as we're coming into the winter months. How much summer stuff have you used? A little tip I use is at the start of the year, I put all my coat hangers facing the same way. And then when I've worn an item, washed it, I put it on the opposite way. So I know I've worn it. And then have, um, anything that I do have the original way round, I then think, well, I haven't worn it in a year. I'm going to stick it on Vinted. and I make myself some money. And Just Vinted is a great little sideline where you can empty your wardrobe and also make money. There are free ticket sites, so you have blue light free tickets, and you've also got tickets for good. And these are for health and care staff members. So you could, I know my friend's just been on it and got tickets for England women over in Sunderland, I think it is. I think so. But they've got free tickets for this because they work in the NHS. So there's lots of different things available in terms of tickets as well. There's event places, so there's lots of different events, and I've just put 2 events there. You've got Secret Liverpool, who do lots of events around the current area, and Visit England, which is up and down the country. Half terms coming up, planning your journeys, save your money on your trains by using Hopper, pre-book way in advance, get discounts on that, and go to all these different Visit England events up and down the country. It's really, really informative, this page. From cashback on shopping, Christmas is coming up, get yourself some cashback for your top cashback. And then also online shopping vouchers such as Honey. And these are browser add-ons that you can add on. If you've got projects coming up, so household projects, you could use FreeCycle. And this is where people want to get rid of items. So, for example, a wooden bed, but you think, oh, actually, it needs a bit of work. Quick lick of paint, varnish, and it's brand new. And you can utilize these completely free. A lot of them, 99% of the time, are free. So essentially, that brings us towards the end of our presentation. And what we've tried to do is keep everything concise together and in one place. Now, I have this next slide, but she's actually here in person with us. So Judy, part of Judy's service, she is essentially the human form of the CAB. We're really, really lucky to have Judy in the hub. And Judy works on a social prescribing basis. If you're struggling with housing, debt, finance, social engagement, addiction, domestic abuse, anything non-clinically related, you can book a free one-to-one confidential appointment with Judy. And we link in with the third sector partners. And what we do there is any sort of information or help you need, we can get this provided to you. And Judy will do that and get her best. If there's something not worth knowing, if there's something not worth knowing and Judy doesn't know about it, it's not worth knowing altogether. Essentially, again, it's part of the service. We're really looking the hub to have this because not many resilience hubs have this sort of service available. So if you do feel like you're struggling or just want to connect with Judy to talk more about this presentation, about insights or anything like that, please use that link, the self-referral link, and we'll be more than happy to help.